Nook!
I'm so glad you stopped by to read with me today. And if you like books, go ahead and hit that subscribe button before we get started on Heroes of the Bible. Noah and the Flood. God decided to send a flood to wash all the bad away. He saw that Noah was good. He told Noah to build an ark for his family and every type of animal. It took Noah a long time to build the ark. Then animals flew, hopped, galloped, and crawled onto it. God sent the rain for 40 days and nights. Noah saw it had stopped raining and sent out a dove. It came back because water was still everywhere. Even the mountains were covered. He sent the dove out again. The dove came back with an olive branch. This meant there was dry land. When he sent out the dove once more, it did not return. The earth was finally dry enough to leave the ark. God put a beautiful rainbow in the sky to promise he would never flood the earth again. Every time we see a rainbow, it reminds us of God's love and his promise to Noah. Jonah and the big fish. God wanted Jonah to go to Nineveh to talk to the people. Jonah went to Joppa on a boat instead. God was upset with Jonah. He sent a storm that made Jonah's ship toss in the rough sea. The men on board found out that Jonah was to blame for the storm because he disobeyed God. They asked Jonah what they could do. He said the sea would calm if they threw him overboard. So they tossed him into the sea. As soon as Jonah hit the water, the sea calmed. Then a gigantic fish swallowed Jonah. While inside the belly, Jonah prayed to God. God made the fish open its great mouth and coughed Jonah up onto safe, dry land. Jonah's story reminds us that we should listen to and obey God. Daniel and the Lion's Den. Daniel worked for King Darius. The king liked him and put him in charge. The king's other men were jealous of Daniel and wanted to punish him. They knew that Daniel prayed to God. They told the king to make a law that everyone had to pray to the king and not to God. Daniel refused to pray to the king. The king's men got King Darius to arrest Daniel and put him into a den of hungry lions. Inside the den, Daniel prayed to God to save him. First thing the next morning, King Darius rushed to the den to see Daniel. He was amazed to find Daniel unharmed. God had answered Daniel's prayers. Daniel's faith reminds us that God will protect us when we trust him. David and his giant. David tended sheep while his brothers fought in a battle for King Saul. He used his slingshot to keep animals away. The enemy in the battle had a giant named Goliath who was over 9 feet tall. Goliath said he would fight one man. If the man won, the battle would be over. David's father asked him to take food to his brothers. After David saw Goliath, he told the king he could beat him. The king said, "You were just a boy." David said, "I have fought lions and bears. God protected me then, and he will protect me now." The king said, "Go with God." David picked up 5 stones. He called to Goliath, "You might have a sword, but I have God on my side." He aimed his slingshot. The stone hit the giant right in the forehead, and he fell. David's story says that even if we are small, God will help us if we trust him.